studio, as well as the Parliament. So our reporters, as well as my staff members here, will bring you some updates regarding that. And I'm here joined with colleagues from different departments of the languages department. So we will just give you some updates regarding that. So first of all, let me just try to give you some background regarding the Ethiopian legislative bodies. It is just of two chambers. That is the House of People's Representatives and the House of Federation, each with 5-year term. And the House of People's Representatives is the sole legislative body, and therefore the highest authority of the federal government. And members of the House of People's Representatives are elected by the people at district level. So the districts are based on population, with the provision that at least 20 of the 550 seats are reserved for minority of nationalities. So the House of People's Representatives, as the sole governing body, will determine the organization of the National Defense Force and Security, declare state of emergency or war on the basis of a draft submitted to it by the Council of Ministers, and lays taxes and ratifies federal budget and international agreement concluded by the executive. It also appoints federal judges and members of the Council of Ministers, and establishes autonomous bodies such as the Human Rights Commission, the Ombudsman, and Auditor General. The House has also the power to call the Prime Minister and Minister for questioning, and holds power oversight responsibility over the activities of the same. And the House has 9 standing committees. And the House of Federation, on the other hand, is composed of 108 representatives of nations, nationalities, and peoples of Ethiopia. Members of the House are appointed by the State Council, or the state may hold election to have representatives elected by the people directly. So the House of Federation has the power to interpret the Constitution. It has also the power to resolve disputes that may arise between the federal states, to determine the division of revenues between the 2 levels of government and that derive from joint resources, and to allocate federal subsidies among the state governments. It has the constitutional responsibility to promote equality of the peoples of Ethiopia and consolidate their unity based on mutual respect. So it is just this joint session, the joint session of these 2 bodies will commence now officially. So ABC World, your new voice of Pan-Africanism, brings you a live events as they unfold from the Ethiopian Parliament in a few minutes' time, where Ethiopian President Haile Selassie will address based on the major government plans for the 2018 Ethiopian New Year that started on the 11th of September 2025. Thank you so much, and I'll also come back to you. Now let me go to Mohammed Amin Ahmed.
Okay, thank you. مرحبا مشاهدينا الكرام. نحن اليوم سننقل لكم رسميا من قناة هيئة الإذاعة والتلفزيون الإثيوبي في أديس أبابا، في العاصمة أديس أبابا، والتي تفتح رسميا الجلسة المشتركة التي تصادف الذكرى السنوية السنة الجديدة لمجلس نواب الشعب ومجلس الاتحاد. وفقا لدستور جمهورية إثيوبيا الفيدرالية الديمقراطية، تفتح الجلسة هذه آخر يوم الاثنين من الشهر الأول من السنة التقويمية الإثيوبية. ويميز هذه الجلسة أن قناة البرلمان الإثيوبي والتي تم إطلاقها رسميا اليوم قد تساهم بشكل كبير في تعزيز الوحدة الوطنية وبناء خطاب المشترك. وأن هذه القناة أيضا ستساهم بشكل كبير في مساعدة الدولة على تجربة الثقافة الديمقراطية وغرسها أيضا وتمكين الشعب بأكملها بالمشاركة فيها. وهناك أيضا يتوقع أن يلقي رئيس الوزراء تاي أسكسلاسي كلمة في الجلسة المشتركة يحدد فيها التوجهات السياسية الرئيسية لحكومة وأولويات للسنة المالية الإثيوبية لعام 2018 كما وعد كان في عام 2017 بعد المشروعات التي تطلقها الدولة في تلك السنة والتي يتم الآن بناؤها على هذه المشروع. وسيحضر أيضا حفل الافتتاح هذا سفراء وممثلون عن منظمات دولية وقيادات دينية وشخصيات وطنية بارزة وضيوف آخرون. ومن المقرر أيضا أن يعقد البرلمان الإثيوبي الجلسة المشاركة لهذا اليوم، حيث يتوقع أن يلقي رئيس الوزراء كلمة التوجيه السياسية، وأيضا يحضر رئيس الوزراء الدكتور أبي أحمد ليجيب عنها على أسئلة النواب ويعرض أيضا التقارير لأداء الحكومة في هذه السنة. وأنقل لكم مشاهدينا الكرام من اللغة العربية إلى اللغة الداخلية العفر إلى أحمد.
شكرا محمد من مرحبا قد جاي إثيوبيا تلفزيونكي أفيته سأتانا لا نيك التحتن توقبوي نقصيني سينك النهاية برسلوكو أحرى ولا لا اللي نك يقول سيه نمي برسلوكو لحياته فدركي أمتها أولايتيه ملها براكي فدريشين ملها براكا كونو هايتو تامل لجدكا فكين تيا عند قربلوكو لباتنا كي لحيه أوكي هدرو دقو ساعة دقو دقيقة كمدلا فدري برزدانتي تياس كاسيلاسي اللي جيت مكياب كاك أبواه كنيه تنمكي أمته أولايتيه ملها برا برسلوكو أمته أولايتيه ملها برا عند قرب ليه على سكا نما سنة نمل فيكي تبانكي ملحينك دبها نماي إلى نمل فيكي تبانكي ملحين لقدكا ويسي ألسكا صدمه تامها ألسوكته تنمكي تنقادكو نما ألسا ربو بينيك قمدلا سنة نمل فيكي تبانكي بحار لقدها عسبا سنتكا برسلكو متهو لايتيتيه ملها بركا تامد دبانكا فاكينتا قرسيتل العقبالان هاي أوكيه الدرو اسكرين الأكاه تبلين إنها ركاكي دولتكا فيالي مروحتي تنقادكو أمتا كي فيدريشن ملها برها أدويتيتكي إنه أوكيه الدرو متهو لايتيتيه ملها برها خانتكا فنها حلقا أرح أبركو جيتمانا هاي تنقادكو فدري برزدانتي تي أسكسلاسي أحرى برسلكو تارح الأبواه يعني إياب الأرحق عمبالانا ما سنة نمل فيكي تبانكي بحار لقدها إثيوبيا قدس سويته تناي مدوروي أيونتينوي دبلوماسي سايكي سلام وقته تنوي النهتن تاموملي أبو تويته تنهتن تامو مكبارهن يبلي أبواه ينمكيتو نقادكو دولة تامه أفكنكو إفدر دولة تكا سنة نمل فيكي تبانكي بحار لقدها دتا تكويته تامه أبنويسكو اللي أبواه يابتي اللي أبن الحكم مالنا تون نقادكو برسلكو سنة نمل فيكي تبانكي ملحين لقدها دتا إثيوبيا بڑا بڑ سليهتن لودتري ألقدته أدتا دلوت لهتن تاما إدي أبتهتنا لقدك سكتهتن إمكيته قلقادكو لقدي أيدادي لقدايا برسلكو إثيوبيا كنبه هنا أسعسابيكي كراودايتن نحكادكو كردهتن هتن تامومي اللي تكيها وكيه درو بڑا بڑ سليهتن دولتك فيالي مروحتي برسلكو حلقا جيتين تهاي أتتري لقدي هدتكادو لكا إثيوبيا تبقى كنبه هنا أسعسابيكي كراودايتن نحكادو لكا بعري سعي عيسو قداي سعي قدتي تنقادكو غازك كنيكي دوعيسو اللي ابكا منغو تني تنتامومي ادي ابته تن لغديتي ابنا الحغايسوسا اللي كورسه هي سوكته برسلوك اوكي هدرو اساكو كادلكا سنه نمل فيكي تبانكي بحار لغدي هدتا تقويته تني تنتامومي كي بارهن افدفكوت كي يبا افدري بريزيدنت تايس السلاسي طارح على ابي ارحكو عبالانا هاي اوكادلكا نلو اويتي برابر سليختنا وافيتكي سيدي تبيتك جيت الله هاي تجرينها افكاد لك مرها سلام دقو يتبي التفصيل
يغني لي مسارح سياري أنا باللي خبرات سعد مستنت ملكتنا ياو خمتو بقطتات تريو لهم بيت مخري باكتو وكلت هزبي ياو بيت مخري فيدريشن صراحة خلتش عن 10 مونتن عام تمرت بعلن مجمار وحدات دقائق تريفو ملو ورسالنا من محدار كللاتن ياو تو أبالات بايتو وكلت هزبي ቦቶኦም እንዳሓዙ እዮም ድርከቡ ኣብ በጀት ዓመት 2017 ዓም ማለት እዩ ለተፈላለዩ አንፈታት ተቀሚጦም ያው መንግስት ተወኪሉ ተመሪጹ ለመጸ መንግስቲ ለሓዞም ሐሳባት ለቱ ቤት ምኽሪ ቀሪቦም ያው ለተፈላለዩ ክትትላትን ለተፈላለዩ ድምጽ ናይ ማሃብን ናይ ምጽዳቅን ዛዕባታት ባይታ እንዳሓዙ ኣብ 2017 ዓመተ ምህረት ሃገርና ለተፈላለዩ ስራሕትታት ተዓሚሞም እንዳረአና ንሕና እውን ከሚድያ ዳዘግብናዮ ምምጻና ይፍለጥ እዩ ያው ብዙ መሰረት በጀት ዓመት 2018 ለዓሞም ስራሕቲ بجبو لمخادون بمسرة عواج بريزيدنت تاي عسكرسلاسي مأتو مدرة غيرهم عم فتح 2018 عام تمرت كانت سوريو سلطان تكباراتن بايتو كلتي خمتو الفلت مقصار بأكالات سرعتو كلنا سرعت دبلوماسي بالتفلالي أقبابون موت حقي لتمت خمغانو سروع كوميتي بايتو كلتي أبلات أبزفر ويكعب سيكترات للتفلالي ودابتات ويكعتو أفتو بهزب اللي توكلو سبات حاريو لتفلاليو ناي قطر سرحتات يسرحيو بمسرة زي لك عقمتو ناي عامي عب حز عمتو عب مرققات وحسنا محبرسب عب دلدل دوتا ماكرو قطبان خلوت لعمسلو زعباتاتن لليو مسارتها وشخالات من نصر ربحة للوم سفحتي عمقت كدسس ولخلو حسابات كصرحو تفيلهم تثبيت يقبر ياو خمتو قديما لا قلص صور صنحكو بتو سكرين خم تملكتو ولهم له አባላት ባይቶ ወከልት ህዝብ ርዕሳነ ምሕዳር ክልላትን ሓዊሱ ቦታኦም እንዳሓዙ እዮም ልርከቡ ለለው መዕባለታት እግር እግር እንዳተኸታተልና ናባኩም ክነብሊና ምሳና ጽንሑ
Thank you Maraha and by the way the Ethiopian television Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation together with the Ethiopian Parliament in its history over the past several decades has brought to reality the Parliament channel, that is EBC Parliament channel. So this channel is dedicated for just showing the public what those people in the Parliament, in the House of Federation, and are just doing, and also just trying to shape the legislative bodies' priority agendas and how laws are made, and just this is really a very critical point in the history of the Ethiopian Parliament as well as as a public media for the Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation as well, because it brings how the Ethiopian government works and for all the people of Ethiopia. So that is really a very outstanding point, and that is what is launched this morning with the appearance of His Excellency the spokesperson of the Parliament, Taggese Chafo, and other government officials as well as EBC personnel. Well, regarding today's session, which is minutes away to come, the government of Ethiopia, through its President Taye Asqaselase, will address the major government issues, the major government priorities for the year 2018. And obviously, the macroeconomic reform of Ethiopia will take a very big place in the Taye Asqaselase's address, because here the macroeconomic of Ethiopia, which the reform was launched in 24 July, and with that the macroeconomic reform has come with several agendas. The first point is just to create a stable macroeconomic platform in the country, and it also just tries to have or to make the foreign currency reserve of the country boost up. So these are just the points which are among the points which are expected today to be heard in the Parliament. And another important point could be the macroeconomic reform of Ethiopia is also just to maintain single-digit inflation. So now, I think the Parliament is going, just the joint session is going to open. I can see here on the screens that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is just arriving in the Parliament Hall. So let's watch that and get back. So as you have just watched on the screen that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has already arrived in the hall, and the joint session of the House of People's Representatives as well as the Ethiopian House of Federation will come soon, and President Taye Asqe-Selassie is to address the parliament today, and with his address the president will put some major government plans. So this is what's expected today, and this is just the very first moment of the entire year. Just the commencement of the parliament. So during this, as I told you earlier, just the major point could be the macroeconomic reform and how that could be maintained, because over the previous year, the macroeconomic reform has just brought some achievements, including just boosting up the foreign reserve of the country, and also just boosting up the import and export, particularly on the export sector. The macroeconomic reform has just achieved a lot, according to reports from experts as well as the National Bank of Ethiopia. So this would be one of just the points, and another point that the President Taye Asqe-Selassie will address is some social issues like the government public servants' salaries. So following the macroeconomic reform, the government announced it, and this is just for the second time that it will boost up government public service servants' salaries. So this could be one of the agendas that could be sent, and perhaps this event, the joint session, is quite unique because it comes after the completion of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, as well as the launching of some major mega economic infrastructures, like even the inauguration of the first Ethiopian natural gas plant. So I think it will be just with a sort of uplifted spirits that this House of People's Representatives members, as well as the members of the House of Federation today, join together and hear the next year's plans. So that would bring maybe a different vibe for the House. And I think this is one of these expected areas that the President will also address. And inflation is also another critical point that the government is working and will also continue to work. Over the previous year, the government wanted just to maintain the inflation with 1 digit, and according to the National Bank's report, the inflation of the year by the month August was 13.6%. So the inflation declined that level, but still the government needs to work on that, and this can also be just worked out, just addressed by the President. And tourism is another key issue, as the government repeatedly just tried to emphasize. So this will also have some room in President Haile Selassie's addressing today. So these are just the points that we are going to hear today, and the President may also just raise issues of election, because 2026 is the election year, and so maybe by June Ethiopia will hold national election, and we can just hear from that as well. And another important point could be like the innovation sector, how Ethiopia will execute some plans like Digital Ethiopia initiative, the e-governance, which is just part of the digital initiative. And so since Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has come to power, he has just given special attention for the technology and innovation sector, and this can also be one of the priority agendas of government for the coming year. So we are also to hear about that, and I'll just bring you some other updates on that. And I think the opening session will come soon, within a minute's time. So I will bring you back to that later. And now let me get back to Mohammed Amin Ahmed just to give us some information to our audience in Arabic.
مرحبا مشاهديني الكرام، نشكر الصحفي. وأيضا هنا كما نشاهد على الشاشة رئيس الوزراء الإثيوبي الدكتور أبي أحمد حضر لهذا الاحتفال أو لهذه الجلسة المشتركة التي تصادف ذكرى السنة الجديدة عام 2018، والتي يتوقع منها كثير من الأشياء وأيضا من الإنجازات التي بذلت الحكومة الإثيوبية خلال عام 2017. وهناك إنجازات كبيرة من سد النهضة الإثيوبي الكبير، وأيضا المشروعات للغذاء، وأيضا هناك مشروعات البسمة الخضراء. وكما مرت إثيوبيا على تطوير الممرات المدن، وأيضا تطوير الممرات الريفية، وهناك مشاريع أخرى. أيضا إثيوبيا تستمر في إنجازها في المستقبل وما أنجزته، وأيضا سيتوقع في هذه الجلسة أن يصادف البرلمان الإثيوبي على الأشياء المهمة من حيث الأموال التي تصدر في عام 2018. وكما نرحب بالقناة الإثيوبية تنقل لكم باللغات المختلفة من اللغة الإنجليزية واللغة العربية وأيضا اللغة العفارية واللغة التجرية من هذا الموقع. وأيضا هناك هذه القناة، قناة الإثيوبية في سد الفجوة والمضي قدما نحو حكومة يمكنها التوقيع بين التنوع والوحدة، كما ستلعب دورا رئيسيا في بناء ثقافة سياسية لا تقتصر فيها ثقافة ديمقراطية على المنافسة فحسب، بل تشمل أيضا التعاون، وتشارك أيضا هذه القناة لبناء دولة قوية، كما أن القناة ضروري لتعزيز الوحدة الوطنية وبناء خطاب مشترك والعمل معا بشأن القضايا الوطنية. وفي مثل هذا الحدث الذي ترونه أمامكم على الشاشة، المجلس البرلماني الآن سيعقد، ورئيس الوزراء الإثيوبي حضر، وأيضا المشاركين من السفراء والممثلين الأقاليم، وأيضا أعضاء البرلمان الإثيوبي حضروا. وينتظر بعد قليل رئيس الوزراء التاي أسكا سلاسي كلمته لافتتاح هذه الجلسة، وسنعود إليكم. وأما الآن ننتقل إلى اللغة العفارية إلى أحمد علي، تفضل.
مرحبا، شكرا محمد أمين. قد جاي أوقع فدريك نهارسي ملاك دكتور أبي أحمد فدريشين ملاك براكي أمتها أولايتيه ملاك برا فكينتها ثانيه حلق سجيه أوقيه الدرقاد لك برابر سليه تنا دبلومات وايتون نقادكو بارو بمروحتي حلق جيتنتهاي منقه تنقاد لك برلام الأوقادكو أمتها أولايتيه ملاك براكي نما ملاك برا إتلوكو غريس وايته تنيه تنقبره أوقيه الدرو فدري بريزيدنتي تياس كاسلاسي ثاني هنما بلافونها حلقة جيت ما هاي فدري بريزيدنتي كادوكو أساقو برابر سلفان للدتلي يابا أبيلي أرحوك عمبالانا هاي بريزيدنتي كيس كسلاسي أوقيه أدرو نما ملاح برافونها حلقة جيت ما هاي تنكادوكو أملاح برافونها أساقو أبواه يابلا برسل
يفدري بريزيدنت برسلام
You are just watching the live session.
Bergerak, mantap, banyak saja.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are just watching our live transmission on a special occasion of the commencement of the joint session of the House of Federation and the House of the People's Representatives of Ethiopia. And now President Taye Asselassie has arrived in the hall, so soon will come his address.
نعم مشاهدينا الكرام، الآن حضر رئيس الوزراء تاي أسكا سلاسي بفتح الجلسة العادية هذه لجلسة البرلمان. كما تشاهدون حضر الجميع، السفراء وأيضا أعضاء البرلمان الإثيوبي حضر الجميع، وسينتظر بعد قليل سيقوم تاي أسكا سلاسي لفتح هذه الجلسة.
مرحبا قدك محمد نوي فدري برزدانتي تاياز قاسلاسي اواكيه ادرو فدريشن ملهبراكي امتها اولايتيتي ملهبرا اتلوكو قريسا تنفكين تلا حلاقا سوغيه اواكيه ادرو امتها اولايتيتي ملهبرا تنخادو فدريشن ملهبراكي تنخادو دبلومات واكي تنخادو ركاكاي برحو سعولتي اواكيه ادرو اراحا ابركو جيتين تاهاي برزدانتي اواكيه ادرو ساني ملهبرا مفرها حليه جيت ما هاي مرحبا
يقني لي كم تولى رأنا يولت نحنا خبر قدام مجلس أبي حمد دكتورن خبر بريزيدنت تايي أسكس لاشي ترغيبه من لو سفره من محاس يو بزو مسارات مارش باند سراويت مكل خال هاجر ناي خبرك قبلا كير لو من لو مسانا صنحو
تري ترغلاچو እንግዶች የፍትሪ ፕሬዝዳንት
Please sit down. Thank you.
ይሄ የአንድነታችን አርማና የሉዓላዊነታችን መገለጫ የሆነውን የህዳሴ ግድብን
This is GERD with determined leadership and the two houses joint meeting that is to be conducted after successful completion of Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam and launching of many grand projects. ክቡር ዶክተር አብይ አህመድ የምድር ተቆይ ምክር ቤት አፈ ጉባኤ የተከበሩ አቶ ታደሰ ጫፎ የምድር ፌዴሬሽን ምክር ቤት አፈ ጉባኤ የተከበሩ አቶ አገኘሁ የፌዴሬሽን ምክር ቤት ፕሬዝዳንት የጋራ የአሰራርና የስብሰባ ስነ ስርዓት ደንብ ቁጥር 2/2000 አንቀጽ 6 ንዑስ አንቀጽ 5 መሰረት የሪፐብሊኩን ብሔራዊ መዝሙር ከመቀመጫችን ተነስተን በጋራ አመሰግናለሁ። Next, I shall transfer the podium to two speakers. Thank you very much. How are you? Welcome all. Ethiopian Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, the 6th Federation and House of People Representatives joint meeting, the 5th year of business.
as per Article 58, sub-article 1 of the Constitution, 391 members from House of Representatives and 120 from Federation. 511 members are in attendance. So the quorum is full, complete. Before we move to the agenda of the day, the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia President, His Excellency Taye Asqassalaase, as per Article 71 of the Constitution, he shall officially open the joint meeting of the two houses. And I would like to invite him to the podium. As per Article 71/1 of the Constitution, the six councils of House of People Representative and Federation, and the first joint meeting, I would like to declare that the meeting has been officially opened. Thank you, Mr. President. The agenda for today are, as per Article 58, sub-article 1, the offices have now confirmed that the quorum is complete. It shall be begin as per regulation. As per the regulation, based on the agreement made by the speakers of the two houses. First, FDR Ethiopia President, His Excellency Taye Asqassalaase. We shall listen to the opening speech of the President. Second, the fourth year joint regular minutes of meeting shall be examined and approved. Therefore, next, as per Article 71, sub-article 1 of the Constitution, FDRE President Taye Asqassalaase, for the fifth year of the Councils, for the joint meeting, he shall deliver opening speech, and I would like to respectfully invite him to the podium. Thank you. Honorable House of People's Representative Speaker and Honorable Speaker of Federation House and Honorable MEP and Federation members, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, FDRE Constitution, as per the Constitution, the joint meeting of the House in coincidence with the launching of the business of the year. So coming here and to deliver the opening speech, I am very delighted and happy about that. In this beginning of new year, for the many years, the dissatisfaction that we had before, the year that we have inaugurated the GR Grand Renaissance Dam, Ethiopian ground resource, natural gas extraction time, using our natural resources and opening grand projects, and the time we have started these projects, this time shall take very vivid and magnificent space in our history, no doubt about that. Ladies and gentlemen, after making studies of years, that full macroeconomic reform and homegrown economy reforms, the programs that have been conducted our economy is growing.
የኢትዮጵያ ኢኮኖሚ ለዘመናት
Ethiopian economy
በመዋቅራዊ ተግዳሮቶች ተጽዕኖ ስር ወድቆ
has been facing structural obstacles and was in severe debt. Before the change or the reform, the growth we had, it was not based on sustainable economic growth that caused the country to enter into big debts and problems in macroeconomy. The government to correct these problems and to go to the way that takes up to actually prosperity, it has implemented fast and effective economic reforms, exports policies, and to increase the stock of foreign investment, foreign currencies. That has been also possible and done.
ወደ ባለ ብዙ ዘርፍ የኢኮኖሚ መሰረቶች በመቀየር
we have changed it to multifaceted economic structures. The government has detached it from dependence and to move it to economic sovereignty. It has opened a very decisive chapter, and the economic change bases are to know our capacities and potentials, to see through problems or challenge our opportunities, to gather different potentials and focus on sustainable goals. And based on this, to increase and accelerate the economic growth that has been possible, to detach ourselves from debt crisis, debt burden, by using our own capacities to move to the horizon that is free from dependence and to move manufacturing and production by self and to change our resources to tangible sources. And changing the styles of living of our people and ensure ongoing benefits of our people. Many efforts have been done in that regard. In this regard, in 2017 Ethiopian calendar, 8.8% economic growth has been achieved. In 2016 Ethiopian calendar, in agriculture, 1.2 billion quintals were produced. In 2017, 1.57 quintals of production have been harvested. This shows that it shows no more than 24% increment as compared to the previous year. 59% has increased to 65%. Gold production, 2016, it was 3.9 ton. In 2017, 38.87 ton in 2017. Cement production in 2016, 7.5 million tons. In 2017 budget year, it has increased to 9.1 million tons. We have hosted more than 150 international conferences. Digital economy, also the same growth. Bank loan, more than 800 loan, 3/4 or 77% was given to the private sector, and export in 2017, in our history for the first time, $8.3 billion have been obtained from foreign trade. So that compared to the year before, it is 116% increment. To solve soaring economy, in 2016, June, it was 19% inflation. In 2017, same year, it has become 13.9%, the inflation. Civil servant economic increment. So the least economy for the government employees has gone to 6,000. The government from National Bank, it has obtained no direct loan and managed to complete the fiscal year. And this is a big achievement, ladies and gentlemen. In the last year, in the social aspect, we have done many productive and effective activities. So the value degradation, the government believes that it is education quality low economic quality, education quality. So last year we have focused on education quality. The government has formed education and training policy and implemented education to generation. There was not a movement in ensuring the accessibility of education to citizens. So children from low-income children, to have them at school, efforts have been done. This has been given recognition by international organizations. In the health sector, in the previous years, based on the previous successes, it has filled the gaps that were observed. Disease prevention and curative activities have also got focus. Basic health services, and beyond that, medical equipment, pharmaceuticals, production within the country have been done a lot. Based on the government activities, inclusivity is important. Children, women, seniors, people with disability, and those segments of the community have been given focus, and that effort has been done. Women and young, they have been brought to the leadership position and in decision making. That has been also success. Vulnerable women have been taken and training given in special centers to capacitate them and increasing the skills of users and make them benefit from local and abroad employment opportunities have been done. Many activities have been done for the sporting centers have been built in large number, and with regards to people with disabilities, and modern schools for people with visual impairment have been also done. The government shall continue same, especially in children, growth and education. Focus has been given, ladies and gentlemen. Regarding our foreign relation, the center, it is national benefits and citizens. Based on this, Ethiopian geostrategic position is being enhanced. This strategic choice, moving from observer to agenda creator and influence making, we have moved to that level. Our country in cross-boundary resources, equitable benefit. It should also ensure it is right to seize access. The big water resources, government is doing non-stoppable and continuing efforts to get peacefully. 3 magnificent results have been achieved so far. First, the Grand Renaissance project, it has overcome skill and wise manner, and we have been able to colorfully inaugurate it. The second one is the request of getting access to sea. It has come to higher level. This has got recognition and acceptance from international community. The third one, so citizens who are suffering or vulnerable outside the country have been respectfully in a dignified way brought back to their country, and this shall continue. Ethiopians living in different parts of the world, so that they may participate in economic development of their country, efforts have been done. Dear Ethiopians, our country Ethiopia is now at key and important historic juncture. Now we are doing to this decides the fate of the future of our country. We have to use the current time in a wise and very skilled way, so that it will take important place in the history in the coming time. This is for 2 reasons, 2 main reasons. One is our country, the sovereignty problem, the existential problem has overcome those problems. It believes that capacity is necessary. This new capacity is changing our political challenge culture. That's clear. For example, we are practicing solving disagreements in a peaceful way. We have created a consultation forum, Ethiopian Dialogue Commission, for example. The Green Legacy, we have expanded it. And overall economic improvements are points to be mentioned here, side by side with this one. Extracting our natural gas, underground natural gas, it has come for the first time to the practical aspects that we have started the development of natural gas, thereby enabling to detach ourselves from importing fertilizer from abroad, and that we have started huge complexes to produce fertilizers, and petroleum refining factories construction has begun, and these are very prominent and clear achievements. We shall further strengthen them, and with that our country's prosperity and growth can be a reality that can be touched and felt tangible. Why we are saying that our country is at historic juncture? World is in an important transition. This brings challenges and opportunities. So we are creating capacity that enables to benefit from that. In the past year, we have an objective and vision, and thereby reduced the problem we may suffer. We have done that. If we use this opportunity properly, in international geopolitical, we can build a country that can be example to others. We are determined to that, and we have enhanced our capacity and practice in that regard. So our line of development, it opens, it paves that way. So the leap forward for a country that it is doing right now, in 2008 Ethiopian calendar, we shall focus on the following activities in this year. One, first, together with systems change, free, independent, public, national institution. To create such an institution, the government is laying a strong foundation for that. In this year, our unity and peace, to build them on unshakable foundation. Government is still working on institution building, national peace and security institutions that can ensure the sustainability of the country, and to enable them to have that capacity. The government is working. The third, the conflicts here and there, though it is possible to use forces, but peace can be ensured if we use and solve the problems in a peaceful manner. The government believes strongly in that. So the government is taking alternatives, not choice of reconciliation and peace. Though the problem we see, though the government has modern capacity and power and capacity, so to make peaceful country without any problem to the coming generation, it requires wise approach and good approach today. So the government has chosen peaceful method, so that to bring reconciliation and bring about government that has acceptance by all, by using this opportunity, the national dialogue, to make it effective and successful. Intellectuals, I would like to call upon intellectuals and all people to work for the success of this national dialogue, to bring about administration that helps to move the country to prosperity, to realize it the government improves administration structures and gathering different structures that can work together. Good governance is the cornerstone of modern politics. The government understands that. To modernize the service given to the people, 2025 Ethiopian Digital satisfactory results have been achieved. In 2030 digital strategy, we shall take this result to even higher level. Government institution to have them the center for all, to make them very close to the people and reduce the suffering of service recipients, and to give all services under one roof in a digital like MESOP service shall expand further and strengthen information gathering and analysis by modernizing it by high technologies based on evidence and thereby enhancing, and we shall work in that regard. Fourth, government to ensure the guarantee of the people in 2018, it shall work diligently. As we know, the government is law enforcement and judiciary to improve them. It has moved far distances and make this institution to act and work freely. Many activities have been done. Criminal, penal code and civil have been supported by technology to modernize court services. Digital technologies shall be further expanded and make them complete and make them competent and thereby applied. Cultural justice alternatives shall also be considered so that they can take part in the justice system. That will also continue with further strength. Ladies and gentlemen, in this year, Ethiopian year, to take ourselves out of poverty and move decisive development chapter, the government will give attention. In 2018, 9% to have GDP growth of 9%, it will work. And for the success of this plan, the government will increase the magnitude of products and their types, and to make export trade competitive. They shall be done in a manner that can support the economic development. We shall follow methods that help us productivities, national saving, and methods that enhance investment. That will also be an attention. And the other thing, so the problem that our country has faced with being recipient and receiving aid from others, we shall work to stop that. Our agriculture is based on nature, as our needs are based on the foreign products. That has made us very vulnerable. To reduce that economic vulnerability and to create competent economy, that will be done by the government. Strong physical and monetary policies have been implemented. Productivity and production shall increase, and the government has done a lot to tackle the inflation. We shall work to reduce the inflation to single digit by improving supply, by increasing the analysis of inflation and modernizing marketing, urban farming, wheat production, by maintaining that results and reduce the burden, the living burden of citizens. The government shall work on sustainable employment opportunity creation is among the priority areas of the government. People that are based on safety nets to help them to become productive citizens, and by identifying sectors that can absorb many manpower, we shall work. And even even help citizens to get employment opportunities abroad. To ensure overall development, the government strongly believes that in current year, to detach our farming from traditional production, support it in technology by finance provision, and to support the farming with that method, and thereby achieve 6.8% growth in the agriculture. That shall be also worked. In addition to food security, and it shall also be a year in which we are to ensure our food sovereignty and detach our farming from being rain-fed by enhancing irrigation and by speeding up the construction of the fertilizer factory. That will be among also the priority areas. This country's wish of long time to materialize and realize it, that we have laid foundation. That's a big news for Ethiopia, and this vision can change it to something visible and tangible. I would like to appreciate our Prime Minister and his government for his achievements and successful accomplishments. Ladies and gentlemen, by solving obstacles to industry sector, fast and quality industrial development, that will also be done by creating suitable conditions for different sectors so that it shall be made to support different sectors. Investment, production increment, market search, and technology support shall be done widely. In this year, for the sector of industrial growth, trained manpower, knowledge, and manufacturing industries that require big capital. Let Ethiopia produce movement by making supplements or substitutes for imported industrial productions, industrial parks, to have them perform in full capacities and thereby support foreign investments and for the manufacturing sector, loan provision shall also be worked on. Urban development, regarding urban development, corridor development, and integrated infrastructure expansion, many activities have been done. This urban development, to make them improve and support poverty reduction, it will continue by enhancing that, by increasing land provision and ensuring the right to land, to hold land in the government and the private sector, and by its collaboration between government and the private sector, housing problem shall be worked on and solved to large degrees. The government shall conduct works that improve housing, potable water, electricity, transportation, road, and to develop that shall be also attentive done. Tourist destination and providing infrastructures, believing that activity that have been begun by the government shall be further expanded by expanding these efforts in this current 2018 to build very beautiful Ethiopia and expanding tourism destinations. Existing tourism sites shall be now developed and made suitable to tourists. And social tourism projects shall also be implemented. that show the culture and the history of the people,
በመዳረሻ ስፍራዎች ከአየር ትራንስፖርት ጋር በማስተሳሰር
together with air transportation,
ለነዋሪዎች ጭምር
shall be made suitable for citizens and foreign tourists.
የዲጂታል ኢትዮጵያ ልማት እውን መሆን
Regarding realization of digital Ethiopia,
ብቻም ሳይሆን
technology transformation,
ኢኮኖሚያችንና
our
ማህበራዊ
economy, our social life will be changed through this.
ቴክኖሎጂ በማስፋት
Digital technology expansion, information sharing,
አገልግሎቶችን ተደራሽ
and expedited
የኢኮኖሚ
service provision,
በአጭር ጊዜ እውን ማድረግ
and
እንደሚቻል
shall change in that regard in a short period of time. The government believes that in 2018 budget year,
ዲጂታል መታወቂያ ተጠቃሚ እንዲሆኑ
to have our citizens to use digital ID cards
እንዲሳለጡ
so that services can be given based on digital ID cards.
አስቻይ
As a digital area or digital work is
የማዕድን ዘርፍ አንዱ
enabling others, and to enable others that will be done.
የከርሰ ምድር ሀብታችን
Our underground resources,
በትኩረት ይሰራል
to have them to benefit our people. We shall work on that.
እና በስፋት ወደ ገበያ እንዲቀርቡ
So minerals shall be brought and extracted in a manner that benefit the people by adding values,
ማዕድን ልማት
new mining infrastructure shall be done, and thereby bring about very big positive change to our economy. And we shall lead them with that understanding. Ladies and gentlemen, infrastructure has two goals in our country. One is
ኢኮኖሚ እድገትን
economic growth,
ማቀላጠፍ
speeding economic growth. The second goal,
የዜጎችን አኗኗር ለማሻሻል
improving and changing the style of living of citizens.
መንግስት
In this regard, in transportation, in energy,
እና በውሃ ዘርፎች
irrigation and water areas, the government has focused on that. It has brought about meaningful changes and results,
ለማረጋገጥ
and to ensure balanced distribution of infrastructure. More than ever, the government has been determined to that effect. In 2018,
መንገድ አውታር ሽፋን ለማሳደግ
to increase the road coverage of the land, the country is increased. Airports shall be extended.
ጉልህ ሚና እንዲኖረው ይደረጋል
The train transportation shall also be worked on,
የታዳሽ
and to meet the needs of electricity of people
በበቂ
and work benefit better from renewable energy.
ኤሌክትሪክ
All parts of our country to expand electric accessibility. We shall also work on that,
በቃ የኤሌክትሪክ አቅርቦት በማሳደግ
and increasing the electricity production
ትስስር መሰረት
that's adequate for the external export service, and we shall also expand telecommunication coverage
ተደራሽ
and make it accessible to all citizens.
ውሃ አቅርቦት
Potable water,
እና
irrigation, and drainage systems,
ኃይል ጥናትና
and
ዲዛይን
water power studies and design are also among the focus areas of the government.
መጠጥ ውሃ አቅርቦት
To have potable water coverage in rural and urban areas, national level, that will also be done to increase our social link
ማህበረሰባዊ ጸጋዎቻችን በመትከል
by bringing about new social links
ከፍ አድርጎ በማቆየት
and expanding further, increasing the existing structures, and to pass it to the coming generation. The government will work on education quality,
ቅድመ መደበኛና
preschool,
መደበኛ ትምህርት
and
ቤት
schools construction shall be expanded.
ቴክኒክና ሙያ ትምህርት
Technical and vocational schools
የሚያስፈልጉ ክህሎት ያላቸውና
to produce trained professionals that can support the economic growth of our country. They shall be also strengthened,
ተጠብቆ እንዲሰሩ
and higher educations shall have educational autonomy
በአርብቶ አደር አካባቢ
in pastoralist area to expand education accessibility. A special plan has been designed. Pre-elementary, elementary and secondary school education participation shall be increased, and also female girls' participation in education shall also be improved. Regarding health institutions and their health provision quality, especially where there is no service problem, especially in rural pastoralist areas, that will be improvement. Labor for mothers, to have mothers give birth at health institutions, and epidemics and communicable diseases, controlling, will also be focused on for our vulnerable users, enable them to become productive citizens, and thereby reduce the culture of being aid recipients, visually impaired people and people with disability. To support them, infrastructure shall also be done for them, and to reduce migration to urban settings. Solution ideas shall be implemented, and to support senior citizens where they can be supported and thereby get sustainable support. We shall also work on that. To have women and youths actively participate in our politics and decision making, and to have knowledge that is competent with the current time, and to increase and ensure benefiting of the children in all aspects. We shall work on that. Children education and healthy growth, balanced diets and nutrition, effort shall be done. Government policies based on users and making user centers and based on steady employment opportunities shall be made accessible to users in urban areas and rural areas. Honorable House of People Speaker and Federation Speaker, Honorable MP members, Member of House of People in the Federation, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Our world is within changing situation. Our continent Africa and our country Ethiopia, they cannot be out of this world situation. In this reality of the world, to ensure security and peace of the country and ensure growth and prosperity, international and continental issues, we shall have very active participation, and we should do that. In that regard, there are 4 issues are to be done. The first one is based on citizens, national security ensuring. National ensuring is not about our boundaries, but also pride and the security of the citizens, all citizens, wherever they may be, their respect and security. There we shall control illegal migration. We shall work so that citizens can move based on legal way and thereby ensure their employment wherever they work and live in the country they work, to support that their rights are observed. In a not suitable condition, to have them back to their country, that we shall continue. The second issue, Ethiopia, as it is located between Abai River and Red Sea, so their fate is connected with 2 waters, very connected. However, Ethiopia, in a manner that is not justifiable, in a manner that didn't participate the people, it was excluded for long, so that Ethiopia to have back to these water sources and benefit from that in an equitable way. The government is working on that. After 3 decades, sea access has been made an issue, an international issue. After 3 decades, access to sea. So next, our region's joint development need based on that and collaboration, and to strengthen that collaboration, diplomatic and peaceful efforts shall continue. Government, equitable and reliable sea access with the countries of region in a peaceful and a diplomatic way it shall work. And in Abai River, to create trust among the countries, and it shall work actively on that. The third, government in its foreign policy, it shall give no priority to neighbors, and that will continue. In the past year, to make multifaceted collaboration with neighbors, to avoid conflict with neighbors, and solve problems in a neighborlyhood, in neighborly method, and efforts have been made in that regard. So regional connectivity and infrastructures have been done, and in the coming time, infrastructure laying and trade exchange shall be also strengthened. In this regard, the government shall continue with further strengthening the collaboration that started, and to bring about and make peace in our area and solve misunderstandings and conflicts in a peaceful and diplomatic way. It shall work also. The fourth, based on the international power lines and in a balanced way, to bring about collaboration and benefiting, it shall expand. So Ethiopian participation in international forum and benefiting, and to have our country voice on international main important issues, we shall have strong institution and policy directions in that respect. Finally, in the past of reform years of change, Ethiopian government, even while it was passing through different challenges, by high efforts, it has been able to achieve very magnificent results. Our country's politics, economy, and geopolitical standings have been improved, and the former history of being observer is being changed, and the leap forward of Ethiopia will be brought in the coming years by further strengthening these successes and to make Ethiopia more active to a chapter that cannot be reversed. Our country in Africa, to make our country an exemplary country for prosperity, the government will work on that. In this year, the 7th national election, to make it right, democratic, peaceful, and reliable. The government will work on that. All people of our country, Ethiopia, big steps in change. I would like to call upon the people to actively participate and support the government and Ethiopian friends and their partners of prosperity by standing beside Ethiopian people and government, and I would like to call upon them to support us in that regard. I wish you a successful year of action and results. Ethiopia will forever live by its children. Thank you very much. Your Excellency President, for your opening speech, I would like to thank you on behalf of the two houses. Next, we shall continue our meeting. Let's stand for our seat and see them off. The Prime Minister and the President. Let's see them off. Thank you. Next, the 4th year joint regular meeting minutes shall be examined and approved, So comments and questions on the minutes of the meeting. I would like to give you an opportunity to raise your ideas and opinions on the minutes of meeting of the previous year. No hands are visible. So the two councils joint meeting minutes, those who support its approval, please raise your hand. Objection? Objection? Any objection? Abstinence? Thank you very much. So today's joint meeting, the members in participation of the meeting have fully approved the minutes of meeting. So accordingly, so the fifth opening session has been completed this way. Thank you very much.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You have been just watching from the Ethiopian Parliament live the addressing of President Haile Selassie to the two joint houses that are the House of People's Representatives and the House of Federation. And that happened at the presence of Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, House of Speakers, the two speakers of the two houses, as well as some representatives from the diplomatic community, religious leaders, different social groups. And the president has just focused two major areas, and these are just the achievements of the previous year as well as the future directions or plans of the federal government. So regarding this, the full macroeconomic reform took some long time of study, and that is why Ethiopian economy is just showing some sort of progress since the implementation of the macroeconomic reform last year. And the Ethiopia, before the implementation of the macroeconomic reform, was under huge debt. But now that is just going, that has been eased after the implementation of the economic reform. And there have been just quite decisive chapter since over the previous year, and leading to economic sovereignty of the country, and that detaches Ethiopia from economic dependence on other countries, and ensured sustainable economic benefit to Ethiopia. So Ethiopia is just on this very trajectory that the president has shown. And 8.8% economic growth was registered, and Ethiopia over the previous year hosted 150 international conferences, just showing that the country is also attracting some sort of conference tourism, and it is also suitable for conference tourism. And 70% of the total loan was just the total loan, from the year 2017, that is according to the Ethiopian calendar, was just allotted to the private sector, and export was one of the focus areas of the Ethiopian government, and there was boost of export, and that was because of the macroeconomic reform. And inflation was declined to 13.9% the previous year, which was 19% in 2016. And in the social aspect, the government last year focused on education quality, and in the health on disease prevention, and also curing and locally producing pharmaceuticals. So achievements were registered in that sector as well. And investment on youth, women, girls, and capacity building was another focus area of the government the previous year. And regarding foreign relations, Ethiopia's geostrategic position has moved from observer to actor or decision making in regional, continental, and global arenas. And government's non-stop effort is to use transboundary water resources was also commendable, according to President Haile Selassie. So Ethiopia is key and historic juncture. I mean, Ethiopia is just at a key and historic juncture this time because, as I told earlier before the sessions, that the government of Ethiopia has launched several economic reform programs, as well as the government launched massive development projects. So the country is really at a very critical juncture. So these are just points not only for Ethiopians, also for Africans. So government is just working on this, and President Haile Selassie called Ethiopians just to strengthen this effort and to show unity and act in unison. Ethiopia started development of natural gas, one of just the mega projects of the government that was launched last week is that. And in the 2018, the second major area of the President Haile Selassie's address is this. So no alternatives on reconciliation and peace. The government has just given chances for peaceful resolution of differences to those who are just who have chosen armed struggle, and still the government maintains that position and has called for peaceful resolution of differences. And good governance is another key area that the government is focusing, modernizing public service through digital strategies like the MESOV project, and the government will also work to ensure the free function of the law enforcement and justice system, which has shown improvement, but there are also some challenges that need to be reduced or alleviated. And the government also projects 9% GDP growth in the 2018 Ethiopian fiscal year, and improves the quality and variety of export commodities and enhance investment. And the government also announced that Ethiopia must work toward stopping aid and from other countries. And to boost production and productivity is another key area the government focuses. And to reduce inflation and inflation, the government previously planned to decrease that to single digit, and now again that position is maintained for the next year. And the focus on job creation. So by focusing on sectors that absorb large amount of workforce, the government will try to create more jobs for people. And modernizing agriculture is also another key area as the government focuses, because agriculture is just, we know, the backbone of Ethiopian economy for maybe a century. And President Haile Selassie appreciated Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed for the achievements so far, for the leadership, and also the government of Ethiopia for the successful completion of the projects, the plans last year, and also for the launch of those projects which could make Ethiopia's economy to transform. And industrial growth will also be given emphasis, and industrial parks will be working on just to function in their full capacity. And the government also plans to attract and support investments, particularly in the manufacturing sector. And potable water, housing, electricity, telecom services will also expand, and more attention to the tourism and social tourism sectors. As we mentioned earlier, just the Ethiopian government has been paying due attention for the tourism sector, and now again the tourism sector is given much attention, and the government will also build more tourism destinations, more tourism infrastructure. So that will transform the economy. And the government's economy, one from agriculture and the other is just from the service sector. So the service sector is given much attention, and one of these attention areas is the tourism sector. So digital technology expansion and services will also be offered with digital IDs next year, and the government started this before the last year, and it continues that, and in a strengthened manner next year government will fully launch services through digital IDs only. And minerals will also be mined to bring very positive to the people of Ethiopia and the country. And regarding infrastructure, telecom infrastructure, road, airports, and other social infrastructure will be given much attention. But still, the attention of infrastructure development will focus on boosting the economy and also just improving the lifestyles of or the living standards of Ethiopians. So accordingly, the infrastructure will be just road infrastructure, telecom infrastructure, social infrastructure like health, water, education will be developed in such a way that there could be a fair distribution of in the country. And another point, critical point he raised is just the world is constantly changing, and Africa as well as Ethiopia must position itself to ensure that it benefits from the global phenomenon and regional phenomenon as well. So to ensure peace and security, growth as well as prosperity in this dynamism of the world, Ethiopia needs to have active role in the continental as well as regional arenas. And regarding the Abai River and the Red Sea, the president still underlines that Ethiopia has close connection. The fate of Ethiopia is deeply rooted in the Abai as well as the Red Sea. So Ethiopia, I mean, just this particularly the Abai River, Ethiopia still tries to maintain the equitable, fair utilization of the Abai River waters, and also collaborative way is what Ethiopia promotes, and settling disputes in a diplomatic manner through dialogue is what Ethiopia also maintains promoting. So over the past year, Ethiopia has done the same, and for this year, Ethiopia will continue. So Ethiopia will also just try to give attention to the access to the sea, equitable access to waters of the sea, and that is what the country will focus on the next year. So despite challenges, the country has shown tremendous efforts and magnificent progress in the result in the economic, social, political, diplomatic arenas at home and through diplomacy regionally and internationally. Thank you so much, and let me now take you to Mohammed Amin to give you more in Arabic.
اوكي ثانك يو مشاهدينا الكرام، ما زلنا نتحدث عن جلسة العادية لمجلس البرلمان وللمجلسان، وهما أدلى رئيس الوزراء الإثيوبي سيد تاي أكسسلاسي في كلمته الافتتاحية إلى تقدم إثيوبيا بعدة جوانب بفضل الحكومة وشعبها القوي، حيث ارتفع نمو الاقتصادي والبنية التحتية بشكل مكثف، وهذا ما يفيد الشباب والأطفال أيضا والذين يرثون البلاد. وقامت الحكومة الإثيوبية أيضا ببناء المدارس للأطفال الملائم بهم، وهناك إنجازات أخرى وستتوجه الحكومة الإثيوبية في هذه السنة عام 2018 حسب كلام الرئيس الوزراء تاي أكسسلاسي إلى استعمال إثيوبيا بمياه لإنتاج الكهرباء لإيصال الكهرباء القرى وأيضا الأرياف. كما أدلى رئيس الوزراء إلى أن إثيوبيا لها اتجاه أخرى إلى المنفذ البحري للوصول إلى المنفذ البحري، مع أن إثيوبيا سكانها يعني مكتظين ومحتاجين أيضا للوصول إلى المنفذ البحري. وهناك أيضا إثيوبيا اتجهت إلى الطبيعي، إخراج الطبيعي، الغاز الطبيعي، فهنا أيضا هذه إنجازها والذي يوفر لتقليل التلوث المناخي. وهناك أيضا إثيوبيا كما افتتحت في هذه السنة بالسد النهضة الإثيوبي الكبير، والذي يمثل يعني فرصة قوية للشعب الإثيوبي تضامنها. وأشار رئيس الوزراء أيضا الاكتفاء بالغذاء باستعمال الآلات الحديثة وتطوير الزراعة. فأيضا أدلى رئيس الوزراء إلى أن الحكومة تعمل لجذب السياح باستعمال تطوير ممراتها وتجميل الغابات وبناء أيضا الفنادق والمنتزهات، لتكون إثيوبيا مثالا لدول إفريقيا وللعالم أجمع. مشاهدينا الكرام، النقاط التي ذكرها رئيس الوزراء تاي أسكسلاسي في هذه الجلسة كثيرة جدا، منها نذكر أيضا تطوير المواصلات جوا وأرضا، الطيران الإثيوبي، أيضا هذا استعمال التكنولوجيا الحديثة لخدمة السياحين ولجذب السياح. فكل هذه ما ذكرها رئيس الوزراء في كلمته الافتتاحية، والذي انعقد في عام 2018 الجلسة الأولى. الآن سننتقل إلى اللغة الداخلية باللغة الأفر. أعطي الفرصة لأخينا علي أحمد.
شكرا محمد أمين. مرحبا ليك تحتان توكبيو أساكو أوكيه الدرو متها أولايتيه ملها بڑا كايت النقادكو فيدريشن ملها بڑا إتلو غريسه تنا لحيايته لحيايته متها أولايتيه ملها بڑا كا كون حياته مدبيرو كبريو فيدري بريزيدنت تياز كسلاسي اللي جيتي مكياب أبيسوجي برسلوكو أرحلا بڑا برسله تن بڑودا دبلومات واي نما ملها بڑا أدويتيت كيت النقادكو أمن صدق غوريتي دبلومات واي اللي جيتي ما كغريسه تنيم كيتون لحكادوكو اوكو درساني ابلوكو سكتيني هي افدري بريزيدنتي تياز كاسلاسي برسلوكو سنه نمل في كي تبانكي ملحين لجدي هدتا اثيوبيا دغنا اكا حلتي تن تامو ميكي مانغو تن غبوبي ابينوسه تنيم كيتو حكتياكتيني اثيوبيا كا نبهيان اسعسابيكي كرو دعباي عيتو ابكا سكتي تن تاما اديدو اسه تن لجدا كا سكتي تنيم كيتون لحكادوكو بڑا برسله تنا كدا كدا تن حغايسو ادي ابينوسو تامو مي ادي تنا لقدا كاسوكته تنيمكي سنة نمال في كي تبان كي ملحين لقدا لما ملح برق فاكين تلا أبيسو جيهان يابكا برسلوكو منغوه تنتامو مي أبنويته تنيم إفترين برزدانتي تارح الكاسيسيهي أساحا واكو كادو لقواكيه أدور أبيشان يابلا سنة نمال في كي تبان كي بحار لقداها إتوبيا دولتا اللي تامت وهن لفاله تنا دمومه إدي يابه يعني بكتاقوم سين كاسيسيهوي برسلوكو أسنتيه أدتا أمني دقورت دكي ويسرامني فانتيناني تكنولوجي أو كادو لك وقت عصر تكنولوجيا عصر سارن كي تقول كادو كو أبني دحرسه تنادقورتي أو كادو أبني فانتيناني كي ضد قبل سار مهتمومي دولة أصنتها برسل مهمتك أحيكو اللي تامت واحد دمو مكا عمود دمو كني تنمي برزدانتي تارح الكاسيسه كله كادو كو أوكيه الدرو أقتل سر مان له سلامة أكاه ماتلنا دولة تامي تكاجيت مهلم كي برسلوكو أو كيه درو دولة بڑا برسله تلدريفا فيلي أجت كي بعكي بالعكي سام وايس السلام وايس السه تني تنا دغورتكي برسلوكو دولة موقفك هاكا بارويتا سلام عمو أحيو عن حكو تامي تكيبيتي هلم كي تكي كها أحلى من وايته تلدغورت كي تنه كادوكو أجت سلام وايس السه تلدغورتكي أبني دحيري تامو مديجو كجد وايته تلم كي سلام حيلي هلم كل كلمة عمو سلام أحيوكو دولتا أيون تكا سلام دقويسا عملي ده حرسان بيهتامومي دقويسا كاقروا هن برزدانتي تارح الكاسيسي تون نحكادوكو أيون تكا برابر سليه تلودت الليه تن أيون تينو السروي تون نحكادوكو معيني نسوه إلك السروكادو لكا أيون تكا داره سنة نمال في كي لباتنا كي كروي لقده تكيه تنتامومي دقو وكا سنة نمال في كي إلا صدوم فرهات تامومي كادوكو دقوي تكا قد ويتاخترم كي أيون تي السروي تندبين فردين تكادوكو وقت عصره تكنولوجيا ديجيتال أكاه تندبلنها دولتا عمبسيه يعني أو أي فافاي فانتينا للعمبسيه تامومي تاني هو تياكاتي أكتيني كادوكو مصوب إنكي أي فافاي فانتينا معكلايا أو كفانتينا أو كيه درو دولتا الدسابة كوكتوما أبكارك كي تلتا معك كعب بسي تليه تتا مكادو كودي جوي تجد ويتهتني بكي أفلتينا كادو كتحيتنا أي فافيا أيون تكام علي لسه السرويتون نحكادو كو أتلاكي أفوق سوكته هي راعسان كله تلي بكي تحل كادو كو أسنته الدتاد ولت برسل مهمتك أحيوكو تامومي اللي دي جوي سنجر واهلمي برزدانتي تارح الكاسيسيه تون نحكادو كو دولتك أيون تك قبل ده حيريتون نحكادو كو عدلينو فعدلي فلتينا للتاكي تلتامو بكه دي جوا جدلنا كي أيون تكها عدلي ليه أنا أيو عدلينو كهجيالنا حكمي براديتون نحكادو كو برابر سليه تندري فافلي أيون تجاهن أي فافيا عدلينو على كهجيالنا تون نحكادو كو عادة حكمي برادي أسنتا سنة نمل في كي طبعا كي بحار لجدي هدتا أبنوي توكا تاريخ تنتابو بكادو كو مع الروكا جد ويتهت البرزدان تيتيز كسلا ستار حلقة سيسيه برسلكو عملي دغورت كي تون نحكادو كو أيون تكا عدلي كي أيون تي أي فافيا دي جوي سانا ملابا جوه تنتابو بي أسنتي هدت كادو لكا تك ويتهت بي برزدان تيتيز كسلا ستار حلقة سيسيه تون نحكادو كو مرتي كي مرتسو عيو بعرلو الدلع من تحت تنتابو قتك برابر سليح تلدري فافل سري بعري ادي انو كوعي وكله تب بعري رلا بارو هده برت العبلته تنتامومي تا سنت كادو لكا ديغو كا قد ويته تلمكيتو نحكادو كو بارو هده برت اي ماغيلي هلل ادركادو لكا تلمسيرت اكه باريس اكه غدالمايتو نحكادو كو تلمسيرت كا عسرينو لهتن عداغ فلتينا لي اكه ديغوس اكه غدالينايتو نحكادو كو تا كادو كو اندستري كي او كادو لكا تبرته تن اندستري راي اندستري باركيت باريس اكه سيدد لهن كادو لكتا سيدايتي حيلا اكه جنكا نتا باروه أده مرتيكي أجتك ما عد حبي أرحت قحوي أفريقيا تنكادوكو أجت دريفا فيلي ما عد كسدو ده تبارو قللته باروه أده مرتيه برسل مهمتك أحيوكو تاما اللي تقوي تحت نمكيتها كادوكو تامرتيه تن إندستري راه كادو لكا دقوسا كجدانا مالمانغو تنتامو مي تقوي تحت نمي إفدري برزدانتي تياز كاسيلاسي تارح على أبيها يابل كاسيسي كلا كادو لكا مقالو لولو عملته تنتامو مي تانيه أما قالوا لعملته تنتامو مي برسلكو كوريدر دادوسيت أروها دقوا كجد ويتهت لمكي أكوري درد دوس العبلته تنتامو بكادو لكا تام عبيلي تتا أيون أجت دايلوي مقالة دايلوه تام السابه جلو إد جنكا تها كادو لكا دولتا مهمتك أحيوكو تامو بي اللي تقوي تهت لمكي دول كادو كود دالته عصر اللجدة بعد أفريقيا على التحت مقالو العبي هو الدسابة كوكتما أبكاركا كيتلي عبي مهجيت محنا يعني الكوري درد دوس تامو بي باركو جد ويتهت لمتارح البرزدان تارح الكاسيسي كله كادو كو بريتو برادي ديسانا ما واقي هدرو مقالو له عصر سانه للأدركادو لكا مقالو له برادي التعبي أو كادو لكا سيجما برادي التعبي كدا أيفا فيه كتعبي الدسابة إدى أنكو يعني الكادو لكا من قحتنا برادي ديسانا تبرادي كادو ديسانا إيا كادو لكا مقالو له كدا دالكيتو لكادو كو عصر لكو قدهتنا برادي ديسو كادو لكا دي قويسا كقد ويتهت البرزدان دي تارح الكاسيسيه تون لكادو كو إيكونومي كيما الدور للدفن احنا دوريه للأدركادو لكا توريزم للدال تكيه تلتامو بي أوكا توريزم رحيلاني عصبة توريزم رحيلاني ديسانا ما يتون كادو كو سكته تنا توريزم رحيلاني كادو لكا عصر اللوك أكاه جدا لها ويلوكا كيما يعني مهتامو بي عملته إيا تليه تهل كادو لكا عملته تنتامو بي فو حفنها قد ويته تلميكي توه كادو لكا ديجيتاليزيشن يتعروا هاكا تاكو ويته تنتامو بي كليه تلمي افدري برزدانتي تارح الكاسيسيه تون كادو كو توريزم يتعروا هاكا انفستمنت لو دا باريسانا إثيوبيا بعريه معهم داري تليتون كادو كو معدين يكيهنا بعدين ما نقوم عدل اللي يعني أنا أقعد كلكو الاستري كي توريزم كي أي كي تتروح هاكا سنتنا مال في كي تمن كي بحار لجدي هدتا من قوة التامو بي اللي تقوي تحت نقلود التكتيكتين كله تلمي افتري بريزيدنتي تارح على كاسيسيه تقولنا كادوكو برسلوكو افتري بريزيدنتي الدي أبي هنبي بريتم مدة يايسيسي نبي جوباك بريتم مدة يايسيسي تقولنا كادوكو متابلنا كي مهرتها أو كادو لكا متابلني تكنيك كوليج تكادو لكا بارسان بيتامو بتقوي تحت كي أحكادو لكا بريتو مدته ما يساسا تكه إيا مدت ما يساسا دوبوكين ليا دحر ستة هدينا دريفا في بريتو قفسانة بريتو مندت له تبريتو يو من أكاه جيتان لها دحر ستة هدينا التهدايلو تبريتو أكاه جيتان لها سنة نمال في كي طبعا كي بحار لجدتا دولة مهمة كه أحيكو جيتو مواهن لدتك اللي تنبكي عافية للدلقاد لك عافية بريتو عافية فلتينا لتحيتن أيفا فهي مندت لك تحلنا يحيلها لك أيفا فكادو لك عسرينو لك يحين قريتيتو وقلقادو لك عافية فلتينا لي سايتوني تولنا كادو كودد له عافية فلتينا لتكو عبلتي تلتامو بيتني هي أسنتي أدتا معره تلتامو بي اللي تكويته تلبكيتو نكادو كو عافية أيفا فايجي ويته تنا دحر ستة هدينا إنو التكادو كو عافية أيفا أكاه جيتلنها دولتا مهمة كهايكو اللي تابتوه اللي بكيتو نكادو كو قمد ملي جراكي كوران أيفا فايهتامو بكادو لكا جي ويته تلدريفا فيه كوران أيفا فاي قفسان به لدت تلكادو لكا دولت مهمة كهايكو اللي تابتوه يلتامو بكيتي أقتينا كلي تلبكي عافية لدلتكيه تلتامو بكادو كو دحر ستة هدينا أمتا فالتينا أبكتا قويته تلبي إفدرين بريزيدانتي تياس كاسلاسي تارح القسيسي تحت أروح كانوا كو أفتبي قادو التيتيا أقد حدو الأنتحويكو جيت التهيا فوحفن هدي قوة أكاه جده تلنا تامومي اللي تقويته تلبكي تنح قادو لكا دبلوماسي لدت القادو لكا إثيوبيا أقد دايلوكو أملي دحر سمه عم بسيه تلتامومي تلي فري إثيوبيا هبري أقد كفري دريفا في التاميتو أمليكا أقد حرسمه كات حلوية كاتو بودي والناي جتملينه تكيه تنيه تنا دبه تامو قرصو كادو كو راعسه دولتا تابتك اللي جيت ما هن بكيتون نكادو كو أجت دايلو قانون جتلا أفبارو تابته ليه تنسابتكات أنتفع مناكي أهل كادو لكا أجت دايلوكو قبل دحيره تابع دقلوك تقويته تلمي إفدري بريزيدانتي تياس كاسلاسي أساكو أبيه يا بلتار حال كاسيسي تولح كادوكو إثيوبيا عصبت كي تولح كادوكو عباي وعيتو تأروه تليه تنباريو فانا لكا جيت التهجا بكوي عصبتت جيت التهجا بكوي عباي وعيتي دعوك فكجيها باريو لما ليفنا الجيت التهت لكي إثيوبيا كادو لكا بدي فرده فاجي كادو لكا فوح فنها بسيه تلإسر كادو لكا أوكيه درو بعد حد الأقل تيتي كجيا كجيت تحت لبكي قادو لكا سنة نمل في كي طبعا كي بحار للجدلا أبنويته قادو لكا دجلوك اللي تابت وي تحت لبي إفدريه كبريزيدانتي تياس كسلاسي تارح الكاسيسي تولنا قادو لكا إثيوبيا حقالي لها بارورها إيرو موعها أفريكاها عبو تحيثا دبلوماسي ليه تنبارو كلي تنكي إيرو موعها أفريكاها تحيثا دبلوماسي هي أقدارا وقادو لكا فوح فنها دجوي ساكا قدو وي تحت لبكي تولنا قادو كبريزيدانتي أبو الذي هاينتينو يسايك سلام التكيت التامومي مع الرو وقاقد ويتهت نمتار حال قسيسيها وقاقد لك تقرنها أفها مرها أو يتتبسنة لمرها
يغني اللي مسارحتي علي يو قلتيو بيت مخرطات بالترخولو بريزيدنت تاي أزكى سلاسي ناي لقص العمت ناي منقستي تقبراتات لمنصار موكيروم لمنصار لخدلو لمنصار لتقمطوا حسابات أقميتهم يوم يو لتوهاب أنفت علاو لتجورو ميجا بروجكتات مسال لسالت اللو بجت عامت مخانو لرئيو زي خمل اللو خوينو يو تو لتجور مدرة ويكعا لتنصر أنفت لحلفو بجت عامتاتن عبلومي لهلو تجوراتاتن بمن صار يونيرو يو ماكرو قطبا مسرت بمقبار مسرت لحازو عمامات تذكيروم يوم عداقال مرحولو وتشرفوت مسرت تحيزقا قطباو حرنت نمرقات للتقدلو رحقتون أفليتهم يوم لو ألاونت مقبل مرقات بمداي حرشال تسالتو سراحتي أكالتي مدرينيرو الدنا مسرت بمقبار لتصرحو سراحتون أنصيروم يوم كونفرنس توريزم زمسرتهم عمامات بعقن خنديناي مسحاز مسرت متحاز 5 تغالون أكالتهم مدرينيرو ديجيتال قطبا مسرت كحزم مقبارو أب مشكر كار قطبا لعرفو السنة يتلواون أزغاقيروم يوم زي خمللو بوليس تمرت ما حيشخا أب مخادن عقود قطبا ولدوم لحاسيوم تمهارو لقول لهم كيوجدلهم لتصرحوا عماماتون قالوت تذكرت زعباتات وشتي حدينيرو عم مفتر عدل سراح لتصرحوا دوب سجلن ناي وشت عد من قسقاساتون أكلت مدريو نيرو استراتيجيك بوزيشن ويكا بوليتيكا كمامت أمدري مسألة الجبرة استراتيجيك عماماتن مدلواتن ون قليس يوم زي مسمونان بالبحري مس 235 مليون هزبي ز حزلت إثيوبيا متعصا للدحاز مخانون أصنعت يوم سجمات بزتن مفتاح لجبر تعري بتعمي እቱብ ስራሕቲ ኣብ ልዕሊኡ ከም ንረብውን ኣዘኻኺሮም እዮም ልዚ ኮሚሽን ሃገራዊ ዘተ ከም መርኣያ ኣቐሚጦም እዮም ኣብ ወሃባ ግልጋሎት ንምዝማን መንግስቲ ዝገብሮም ፃዕርታትን ትግበራታት ምስ ምምሕያሽ ናብራ ዜጋታት ለለዎ ረብሓን ልወሃቦ ነጥቢ ኣገዳስነቱ እውን ያው ተዘካሪ ዛዕባ እዩ ነይሩ ወጥሪ ናብራ ንምንካይ ማሕበራዊ ኩነታት ብግቡእ መዚንኻ ሳይንሳዊ ብልኾነ ኣግባብ ንምትዕራይ ልግበር ፃዕሪ እውን ኣንፈት ጠመተ መንግስቲ ምዃኑ ኣርዮም እዮም ሕርሻ ንምዝማን ካብ ባህግል ሰግሩ ትግበራታት መፍረይ ዘበናዊ ድኹዕን ፕሮጀክትታት መሳኑን ልድረኹ ዕማማት لحزنايو عمت سرعت تات مخانو قليس أملنا له بمدى إندستريل تسرح سرعتي عب قرب سددن وشتعدن للو مربحا بروجكت من برا أباي تزيجاتات نمعباي اللي تكبر سرعتات زي بقدماي بخبر قدماي منستر أبي حمدون أب مدرخ الله مقبر قدب هداسة تقليس من وارو يذكر مسارات المعات مبادئ توريزم بمعباي ناي حزب صقاتات من لاي صراحتك صرح يوم ديجيتال مللي تبصح مقبار ياو زي مس سيكوريتين مس ناي تطقامنت فتحاو تطقامنت زيغاتات بمدحاز لهو ربحا نصريو زون تبصح المقبار لسرحو صفعتي مدلوات توغينوم لا بتغبرا كيتيو لحزنا يو حدش بجت عامت مالتيو عندنا مسرت الجبره معبالنا السيت وسيخو ربحا نمسفح الجبر من قسقاس كهلوي زي مالت ابل حالفو عامتات عندنا مسرت بمقبر لتسرحو سرعت نيروم يوم زوم نغرات زيوم سدد مبغس يوم لغورو خوينوم هم مصنحهم خز دمو اب عد وشط للو ناي لتفلالو صقاتات تتقيم خا محبر السباو صقاتات ببرك عالم لخا تطلبتلو مخونو ناي مغبار سرح يلخون لو سفيح شفان حرشان ممرغات سرحتك سرحو يوم زي بمسرة المعات حرشا كدغفيو خم مبراهت مسنون لا مسلون مالتيو اربعه انساب للولو خبابتات هاجرنا تبصحنت تمرت نمرغات سرحتي كعمميو تبصحنت قلقالوت حكمنا نمرغات صفحت تغبراتات كلو يوم بهراو دحننت زيغاتات زي حقاو سدت زمسرتهم تطقعنتات نمغلاه لغبر مدلو الله سلاماون دبلوماسياون بالخونه اغباب ايثيوبيا ونانيس بر بحر كتقون لجمرتهم صعرتات كقصلو يوم قدب هداسه الله لغبرت ايثيوبيا قطناو سمرت بايتا تحيزا حدو خبابي كلو سرعت خدفصميا ايثيوبيا ابزحزنايو عامت عالم لختساتفوان تربحلنتان لمرغات ጭቡጥ ስራሕቲ ትግህደሉ ይሎም ለቅረቡ ሐሳብ ያው ለአባላት ቤት ምኽሪ ርእይቶ ክወሃበሉ ቀሪቡ ብሙሉ ልባሃል ድምጺ ጸዲቁ ላብ ትግበራ እንሰግረሉ ዓመት ይኾን ማለት እዩ የቀነይ
That winds our live coverage on the special occasion of the two houses of the Ethiopian, the House of Federation, as well as the House of People's Representatives of Ethiopia. So they have just commenced today, and you have been watching us live from ETV Language Studio here in Addis Ababa, as well as we have brought the speech of Taye Asqaselase, the President of Ethiopia's speech. So thank you so much for joining us, and see you.
نيك تاتا جيتم تحتني تم سكدل توبكوي فيرك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته سيني كارحكوي أحرقها قبلاء عفركا كي دولتك فانتر سيدين تكوي وودع ركا بركة أو دلكو جيتم تحتني تانا جيجي كراوده تامو من محل تام وكسي ساق مسسنين نام برنامج ألينو برنامج السلوك تنميو علي عبد الله أكي برنامج اللي حبو فناني كتاتا نمال مسكدا يكون من لوكسينا الحبيسنا فركتي ركاكاي دولتكاي فانتر سيدين تكوي وودع ركاي بركة أو دكوبة هني أنو يعيتي وودع ركات تركاي أو سيرسيه دعورتكي لوجي هاي دوتيكي أي سعيد فنحولكاي ترتيهتني تن أدور هاي ركاكاي لهني هنجنو قداكي سهدايتي بدلاي بدا برسلي أدور هاي عولايلا كتا سكيميتي هني أنو يعيتو كنيه تمي دقم توي عيتي ركاكاي حد لوي منجو دعورتي لي عولايلا كتا سكيميتي هني أنو يعيتو كنيه تنمكي ترتيهتني تن أدور هاي كاهم حوي هني هنجلي وعيتي أدى أكاكوبا كسوجهني عند عورتلي أيونتي مانجو امتحاني أدى تسوجهني مي تمدقم برسلو كوي ركاكاي حدلوي برا برسله تني تنادى دوسو تامومي اللي أكو جيتم تحتني تند عورتكي دوبتي دعردان كوي برا برسله تني تند عورتلي كتاسا كيميتيني عن عولايلا قدام هاي بروكه وعيتي أدى أكاكوبا هني عند عورتلي أيونته أما بريك سوجهني عند عركني تنمي كستنم توي عيته هو أويه دروي ملاقي دولتاي تحيتني تنهانجلي أقد حدلوي كل دريفة لاي ليك قد تاي أمتا دفن تمهن هاي تدعي أكاه جيتان هاي دفيسيني هنين أفكان لاي أويه دروي ركاكاي كاي مانجوه تني تندعوري تلي أيون تهاي أما بريك سوجهني هن أود عركاي بروكه أو داوي عيتو تدعي فنه اللي قريسانا هنين إنه تامومي ركاكاي كاي فحسوساي إفعك العند ريفه بيروي فدرالا كاي إفعك العند ريفه ملاك اللي حتى مكاي أويه الدروي تدعي اللي حديعه هني